Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Hales and I make videos about the books that I'm reading. Today I'm going to be talking about some of my recent 5-star reads. I have read 147 books so far this year, and not all of them have been great, so I wanted to reflect on a couple of the 5-star reads that I have read in the last couple of weeks. So I've been on a massive thriller kick lately, and I finally got a hold of the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James, which I have been looking forward to reading since like the description was announced, and it was so good. So I think this is my most recent 5-star read. I just finished it 2 days ago, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. I stayed up all night listening to the audiobook because I could not stop listening to it, and it was so worth it. So this book is about a woman who, as a kid, was abducted, and the person who abducted her was going to kill her, and she got away, and she hid for a few hours in a shed or something. But since then, she has gotten super into true crime and researches everything that she can about true crime. And then she's sitting in her dentist's office where she works, and she notices a woman that looks super familiar to her, and she can't quite place it. And then she's told who this woman is, and it is a woman named... I just read this book and I had to look up what the main character's name was, but her name is Beth. The woman that Shay, the other main character, recognized, her name is Beth, and she was acquitted of these lady killer murders in the 70s because they had connected the gun used for those murders to the gun used when her father was killed. And she maintained that she did not do it. It was not her. And so this leads Beth and Shay to kind of... they're not really working together because Beth isn't uncovering the the truth of what happened in the 70s, but Shay is, as she's looking into all of that. But it's kind of like a horror, thriller, paranormal version of Evelyn Hugo. Like, I had such big Evelyn Hugo vibes when I was reading this, because Beth is very well off and inherited a lot of money, lives in a very nice house, is just very wealthy and privileged. And it reminded me of when Evelyn Hugo was giving her interview for the book. Now Shay has already written a blog post because the title, The Book of Cold Cases, is what her blog is titled. So it's going off of like what she does in her spare time, because she is so interested in true crime from what had happened to her. There were so many twists and turns in this that I listened on 3 times speed, and it felt like the twists and turns just kept coming, which, like, they kind of did because I was listening to it so fast. But it, like, every single one, it was like, I didn't put that together at all. I was thinking it was going to be one thing, and then it was something completely different, or like the complete opposite, but it was so good. I love thrillers. I like freaking myself out and being scared. My brain doesn't always like it. I definitely had nightmares the night that I finished it, but it was really good, and I fully stand by the 5 stars that I rated it. It was incredible. The second most recent that I gave 5 stars was a short novella on Kindle Unlimited. I think I might have actually bought this one because I love this little series so much, but it is a book called Will, and it is the 3rd book in the Bad Boys of Saddle Creek series by Kat Baxter. And the first 2 were good. I don't think that I rated them 5 stars, but they were good. They're just quick, easy, fun little reads, and I like Kat Baxter as an author in general, but this series I am a bit obsessed with, and I'm really not that happy because I think this might have been the last one in the series, and I could do so many more of this, like this trope and the drama, and just like, I want more. I could definitely go for 3 more books in this series. Not a lot to talk about because it is only 83 pages and I don't want to give anything away. I highly recommend this and think you should go read it if you're watching this video. But yeah, 5 stars. I very rarely give these little novellas that I read 5 stars, and if I could give it 6, I would have, because I was crying, I was laughing, it was so good. Like, it really was playing on my emotions the whole time, and it was amazing. The next book that I gave 5 stars is probably going to be surprising to absolutely no one, but I finally finished reading The Lost Book of the White, which is book 2 in the Eldest Curses series by Cassandra Clare. First off, I thought that Helen was going to be in like the whole series, and she so far was only in the first one, and like mentioned in the second. And Helen is my favorite. Helen and Anna are like my all-time favorite Shadowhunter characters. And so I always want more of both of them, but there was not enough Helen in The Lost Book of the White for me. But it was really good, and I love getting more of an insight to Magnus and Alex's relationship and what they were doing, like on their travel year, or with this whole demon worship thing that's going on. I might be in the minority with this one because I did give it 5 stars, and it apparently has a 3.99 rating on Goodreads, which typically I think I see like, I guess between 3.5 and 4 is where I see a lot of the ratings for Cassandra Clare's books, but I always expect them to have like between 4 and 5. So every time I give one of her books a 5, I'm like, everybody is doing this, right? Like, everybody feels this way. And then I'm surprised to see that, like, no, it wasn't like that. I personally, with this series, love seeing baby Max and all of his antics and what he's getting into, like climbing on the walls and floating up toward the ceiling. I love that kid so much. I am so excited to see more of him. I hope that we get more Max as like an older kid in The Wicked Powers when that finally comes out, because I think that seeing these generations of Shadowhunters is so cool, but like I want to see the Downworlders that are influenced by their Shadowhunter companions, or in Max's case, his parents. So I'm very excited for that series and for book 3 in the Eldest Curses, which I don't know that there is even a date for yet. I finished it and then it was like, oh, like the date's been pushed back and all this. Oh, goodness. I am so excited, though, to get more in the Shadowhunters world. The next book that I rated 5 stars was The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. It is book 3 in the Truly Devious series, and I bawled my eyes out the whole end of the book. I had an ending in mind that I was really hoping for, and it went the complete opposite way. If you know, you know. But it was so good. It was so well written. And it really was tugging on my heartstrings there at the end, especially when you think about, like, what happened and who did what, and just when certain characters in certain timelines find out what happened, and when they uncover, oh my gosh, I was crying. I immediately text my friend who had already finished it and, like, has moved on to the next ones, and I was just so upset. And, like, I was a little surprised at the ending in the present day timeline. Like, that's not who I was suspecting, which I'm not always great at figuring out who the killer is or who's orchestrating whatever. So, like, that's partially on me for not getting it. But I don't know. I didn't like that ending. I didn't like the present timeline ending, but I wasn't okay with how the 20s, was it the 20s? 20s or 30s? I wasn't angry with how that one played out, but I wasn't very happy with how the present day timeline played out. So I'm really excited. I have already started the book that comes after. I don't think that it's, like, technically in the series. They're, like, companion novel spin-off kind of things, but so far I'm really enjoying it. And then the final book that I have recently given 5 stars is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. I have wanted to read this for so long, and I was really intimidated by how long it is because it is 448 pages, and I have not been in a very big physical reading mood, so going into a book that big and physically reading it, I could not do. So I ended up using an Audible credit to get it, and I'm not typically even a very big fan of, like, sci-fi novels, and it is very much sci-fi, but I was really drawn in with the appeal of the mermaid aspect, and it did not disappoint. This is another book that if I could give it 6 stars, I would, because I was so enthralled the entire time. It was, like, I have no words for this one because I was so mesmerized by it. I already think that I could reread it and enjoy it just as much as I did the first time around. But also, it was a bit of a tearjerker. Like, there were a couple times when I was just absolutely bawling. So this book is about a crew on a ship that is working with, like, a documentary film crew to unearth the existence of mermaids after a previous expedition had, like, they found the boat at some, like, 50 days later or something, just floating. Nobody was there. There was blood everywhere. People were just missing, assumed dead. And the main character goes on to kind of finish what her sister, who had been on that previous ship, had started. And there were so many, like, familial relationships in the book. Then like, something bad would happen and you'd just be bawling your eyes out. But it was really, really good. I know I say that about every book that I've rated 5 stars, but I had the best time reading it, and it's kind of gotten me to want to read more sci-fi because it was really good. So if I can find more like mermaidy sci-fi books, then I will probably give those a try too. But yeah, I can't recommend this one enough. It was really good. So that is it for this video. That was my recent 5-star reads. I am really excited to see what books I rate 5 stars next, and to see how they kind of compare to my recent 5 stars, because every book is different and it affects you differently. But like, I love seeing what's similar in the 5-star reads that I read, so I'm very excited to see what comes next. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!